After 5 years, it's finally the day of the opening of the Parramatta Light Rail, and in this video today we'll be covering the opening of the brand new L4 Parramatta Light Rail Line, or as also known as the Westmead and Carlingford Line, between Westmead and Carlingford via Parramatta's CBD. So in this video today we'll be taking a detailed look at the brand new line, as well as the rolling stock and what to expect in the future with potential extensions. Now, I originally was thinking that I was going to try and get the first Parramatta Light Rail tram from Carlingford tram stop at around 5 AM, however decided to wake up at my usual time and head over to Parramatta at about 10:30 or so to ride the Parramatta Light Rail line between Westmead and Carlingford. However, Max Conto and Matthew from Ahead Matthew Awesome were kind enough to lend over some footage of when the first tram arrived at Carlingford, to give you a bit of an idea what the excitement was when the first tram arrived. So here it is now.
Okay, yep, no worries. All right, am I committed to get on this? Okay, yeah, good.
Good morning.
We've got the
Here we go. Away! Oh my! Here we go. Yeah.
Just became a driver's seat. Oh, that's so sad.
No! Oh no! Get him in! Hooray! Next stop to Lopia, followed by Dundas and Yalamundi, then all stops to Westmead.
The next stop is Talopia, followed by Dundas, then all stops to Westmead via Parramatta Square.
And that's a little bit of a look at the very first tram leaving Carlingford tram stop at 5 AM this morning, and yet still all these officials ended up turning up to the very first tram service, which I honestly was not expecting. However, let's go back to the video and for an explanation of the brand new Parramatta Light Rail Line, or the L4 Westmead and Carlingford Line. So I started off my day riding on the very first tram on the Parramatta Light Rail Line that I've ever been on, set number 3, and I'll be catching that from Parramatta Square to Carlingford before we get off at Carlingford to take a little bit of a look around, plus a look at the very first tram to break down on opening day, which was a little bit embarrassing. So we did see that tram stalled there at Carlingford. However, I managed to get some clips of the trip from Parramatta Square all the way up to Carlingford, as well as a minor delay at Talopia, which I wasn't too sure why the tram was held there for that certain amount of time. So without further ado, let's get into the first half of the journey from Parramatta Square up to Carlingford before we return down to Westmead.
The next stop is Tramway Avenue, followed by Rose Hill Gardens, then all stops to Carlingford.
Stand clear. Doors closing.
The next stop is Rosehill Gardens, followed by Yallamundi, then all stops to Carlingford. This stop is Rosehill Gardens, a light for racecourse. This stop is Rosehill Gardens.
Stand clear. Doors closing.
The next stop is Yallamundi, followed by Dundas, Talopia, then Carlingford. This stop is Yallamundi.
Stand clear. Doors closing.
The next stop is Dundas, followed by Talopia, then Carlingford.
We then made it to Talopia Light Rail Stop, where we were held for around 5 to 6 minutes. At the time, I was a little unsure of what exactly was going on. However, once we left Talopia, and you'll see it on video, another tram went past, and from what I understood, there were actually 2 trams occupying both of the platforms at Carlingford, basically meaning that Carlingford station was full and we'd have to hold at Talopia to wait for the station to empty out a little bit. Eventually, we were able to move from Talopia and make our way into Carlingford.
The next stop is Carlingford. This stop is Carlingford. This service terminates at Carlingford.
And we eventually made it to Carlingford. Now this is where it got quite interesting, as I was a little confused as a tram was stalled here at the end of the line in the little area where a tram is able to be stored when normal line operations are underway, and the door at the front was still open and the driver was still inside. From later what I understood is that that tram had a lot of failures, including air conditioning failure, lighting failures, and passenger information display screen failures. So it was eventually taken out of service, which basically means that there was a slight gap in service at some stations. And eventually, the tram that we just got off sat there for only about 3 or 4 minutes before it left straight away back towards Westmead. And then eventually, our tram arrived that we were going to catch all the way down to Westmead, where I was able to film a driver's view video all the way from Carlingford down to Westmead, and that video will be out tomorrow on Saturday the 21st of December at 2 p.m. I then got on the tram here at Carlingford tram stop, took a little bit of a glimpse at the cab, and even how many kilometres it has done, as there is a little kind of tracker basically of the kilometres that the tram has done on the speedometer there. And as you can see just here, that's a little screen which basically is similar to the ones on the Sydney Metro, where it shows where on the line the light rail vehicle is, as well as the same screens that are on the Urbos 100s on the L1 Dulwich Hill line. Now, I decided to kind of keep the tour of the interior of the tram to a limit, as basically it was very similar to the Urbos 100s on the Dulwich Hill line. So if you'd like to see that video of the Urbos 100 on the Dulwich Hill line with a detailed tour of those trams, which are basically very similar to this, then the video will be here on the top right of the screen, where you can click that and watch that after you're finished watching this video. But apart from that, I filmed the entire journey of the cab view from Carlingford down to Westmead, and once again that video will be out tomorrow. It'll feature detailed graphics and potentially some voiceovers detailing parts of the line and what stations we're approaching and what stations due in the next few minutes and stuff. So eventually we made our way back down to Westmead, where we were going to basically farewell the tram, and it was going to head back up towards Carlingford. So here is the tram at Westmead getting ready to depart towards Carlingford.
Stuff, so yeah.
And that sums up part 1 of 2 of the Parramatta L4 Light Rail Line between Westmead and Carlingford, and basically covering its opening. So tomorrow's video, which will be out at 2 p.m. on the dot in Sydney time, will be a cab view from Carlingford down to Westmead. Now, don't dismiss the video straight away, as I know some of you don't necessarily like to just watch cab views. Now, during the video, it'll have some voiceovers from myself, as well as lots of detailed graphics talking about several key points of the line, and also basically a replica of information on board the train, shown at the bottom left or right of the screen, showing what station we are at, and what upcoming stations are there, and basically what side the doors will open on, stuff like that. So it'll be a very interesting video tomorrow. So basically this video today was more of like a quick little look at the new light rail line, and more of a look around the trams and the stations, and tomorrow will more be a video of the journey across the entire line, with some little facts about the tram line throughout its journey, and that video will be about a little over half an hour long. So it's definitely worth checking out that video, which at the time of this video going out should pretty much already be out to members as early access for all members. So you can become a member for as little as $1.49 a month to get access to that video as early access before it goes out to the public tomorrow at 2 p.m. So make sure you stay tuned for that video. But apart from that, overall, my review of the Parramatta Light Rail Line, or the Westmead and Carlingford Line, is I'm actually a very big fan of it. I think they've done a great job building the line, and I'm honestly quite surprised it only took them about 4 to 5 years to actually build the line and have the trams built, have it already. And I do know that they only just recently approved the light rail line for the Stage 2 of Parramatta Light Rail down to Olympic Park. Where I was also told that at Parramatta Square tram stop, it's currently just 2 tracks and a little junction at the end for trams to turn around early, but soon there will be a full-on turn-back siding to allow for trams on what will be the new L5 Sydney Olympic Park tram line sort of thing, which will be Stage 2 of the Parramatta Light Rail, to terminate at Parramatta Square and return back to Sydney Olympic Park through areas such as just kind of the outskirts of Olympic Park, and eventually coming into the kind of main quarter where all the stadiums are and everything. So that'll be very interesting to see the construction of that, which should hopefully start in the coming months. But apart from that, that's all for today's video. I hope you all thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope you all enjoy tomorrow's video as well, of the detailed ride on the Carlingford Light Rail Line down towards Westmead. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in tomorrow's video.